Do you want to start investing, but don't know where to begin? Are you wondering where's the best place to open a brokerage account? Or maybe you've heard about interactive brokers, but you think registration is difficult and complicated. What is verification? How do you deposit money? And most importantly, how do you finally buy your very first stock? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll show you step-by-step how to open an account with interactive brokers and how to place your very first buy order. Everything explained calmly, clearly, and practically, so that after watching, you'll be able to do it on your own. And just to be clear, this is not investment advice. It's simply a guide to using the platform. Let's get started. Before we move on to registration, it's worth explaining why you might choose interactive brokers in the first place. First, credibility and experience. Interactive Brokers has been operating for over 40 years and is listed on NASDAQ under the symbol IBKR. It's a well-established broker, regulated in the US and many other countries, giving investors around the world a sense of security. Second, access to global markets. With a single account, you can invest in stocks, ETFs, bonds, options, futures, and many other instruments across more than 150 exchanges in dozens of countries. Third, low costs. Interactive Brokers is one of the cheapest brokers. Commissions on US stocks and ETFs can even be zero, and on other markets, just a fraction compared to competitors. Plus, IBKR offers very low rates for borrowing capital on margin. Fourth, powerful tools. Trader Workstation is a comprehensive platform that offers extensive analysis and order capabilities. You can also use the mobile app or the simpler client portal. For advanced users, there's an API and options for automated trading. Fifth, extra benefits. If you have idle funds, IBKR pays attractive interest on them. You also get access to a demo account, paper trading, where you can test your ideas without any risk. Sixth, education. Interactive Brokers provides a huge library of educational materials, webinars, courses, guides, and market analyses. Now let's move on to how to create an account on Interactive Brokers step by step. I'll show you the entire process, from visiting the website to setting up your own user account. Let's get started. First, go to interactivebrokers.com. On the home page, you'll find the Open Account button. Click on it, and then select Start Application to begin the registration process. The next step is to choose the type of account. We'll select an individual account. To open it, we'll need to provide some information: personal and contact details, information about income and tax residency, investment experience and goals, bank account details for funding the account. Now we enter all the necessary information: the email address we want to use for the account, the account name we'll use later to log in, the account password, which we confirm, and the country where we are a tax resident. After filling in all the information, click Create Account. Congratulations! You've just created your Interactive Brokers account, and now we can move on to the next step: verifying and funding your account. After creating the account, Interactive Brokers sends an email with an activation link. This is a very important step. Without confirming the email, we won't be able to continue with the registration. All you need to do is open your inbox, find the message from Interactive Brokers, and click the activation link. Once that's done, your account will be officially activated, and you'll be able to move on to the next steps of the registration process. After confirming your email address, we can move on to filling in the basic details of our account. First, we choose the account type, individual. This is a personal account for one person, and it's the option most retail investors go for. Next, we fill in the legal residence field, these country or state where we are a tax resident. The next step is selecting a service plan. You can choose between Interactive Brokers Lite and Pro. IBKR Lite is designed for retail investors. It offers free trades on US stocks and ETFs, a simpler interface, and no additional fees for inactivity. It's the best option if you're just getting started. IBKR Pro, on the other hand, is tailored for more advanced traders. It provides access to additional analytical tools, better order execution, and lower commissions on global markets. However, it requires more experience and is more complex to use. So, if you're new to investing, the Lite plan will be the ideal choice. Once everything is set, click Start Application to move on to the next steps of registration. In the next step, we provide our contact details, such as home address and phone number. Then we move on to the Personal Information section, where we fill in details like marital status and number of dependents, tax residency and tax identification number. For example, a social security number in the US, or the equivalent in another country, employment status, source of wealth, meaning where our investment funds are coming from. At the end, we also need to choose a security question. This is very important. If we ever forget our password, the answer to this question will help us regain access to our account. That's why it's best to pick a question with an answer that's easy for us to remember, but hard for anyone else to guess. I know this may seem like a lot of information, and you might be wondering, why does the broker need so many details? This is completely normal. Interactive Brokers, like any serious broker regulated worldwide, is required to collect this information to comply with legal and tax obligations. Thanks to that, your account is protected, and your funds remain safe. All data is kept confidential and is used only for verification and regulatory reporting. Once we've provided our personal and financial details, it's time for the 3 final stages of the registration process: regulatory, account setup, and status. In the regulatory section, Interactive Brokers will ask a few additional questions required by international regulations. These may include, for example, whether we are a politically exposed person, PEP, or if we have close ties to the financial industry. This is a standard procedure in line with anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing rules. Next comes account setup. Here we select things like the base currency of our account, our preferences for notifications and reports, and access settings. For example, whether we want access only via computer or also through the mobile app. Finally, we reach the status section. This is a summary of the entire registration process. Here we can see which steps have already been completed and which still require verification. After this step, all that's left is to wait for Interactive Brokers to approve our application. I won't go into every single field in detail here, because the forms are quite intuitive and may vary slightly depending on your country of tax residence. What's important to remember is that Interactive Brokers guides us step by step through the whole process. the system won't let us skip any essential fields. Everything is written in simple English, so anyone can handle it. That's why there's no need to dive into every detail at this stage. Just go through the screens calmly, and the entire registration process will feel logical and straightforward. After creating your account and confirming your email, interactive brokers will ask you to verify your identity. This is the KYC, Know Your Customer process. Here's how to do it step by step. Log in to your IBKR account. In the user panel, go to Account Management or Settings. Account Settings. Select the Upload Documents tab or a similar section for identity verification. Prepare your documents. An identity document, ID card, passport, or driver's license. A document proving your residential address, utility bill, bank statement, etc. No older than 3 months. Upload the documents. Take a clear photo or scan. Upload the files to the appropriate fields in the form. Confirm submission and wait for approval. The system will show a status like under review or pending verification. Everything is completely secure. IBKR encrypts the documents you send, and the information is used solely for identity verification and regulatory compliance. The process can take a few hours or up to 1 to 2 business days. Now that our account is active and verified, it's time to fund it and get ready to buy our first shares. Let's go through the process step by step. Log into your interactive broker's account through a web browser. Go to the Transfer and Pay section. Click Transfer Funds, then select Deposit Funds. Add a new payment method. Choose the currency you want to deposit. The best option is to connect your own bank account. This method is fast, secure, and, most importantly, completely free of fees. To link your bank account, complete a short verification process. Enter your bank account details, confirm that they match the account owner's information, and save them in the system. Once your bank account is added, select it as the funding source in the Deposit Funds tab. Enter the amount you want to transfer. On the next screen, you'll see the transfer details. Very important. In the transfer title, you must include your interactive broker's account number, and the transfer amount must match exactly what you declared in the system. If the amount differs, the funds might be returned to your bank account, or the processing could take much longer. Finally, confirm your deposit requests and make the transfer through your bank. In most cases, the money will appear in your IBKR account within 1 to 2 business days. And that's it. Your account is funded and ready for investing. Now we can move on to the most exciting part: buying our first shares. Interactive Brokers gives us 2 options. We can log into our account through a web browser, or we can use the dedicated trading platform called Trader Workstation, or TWS. Each option has its own pros and cons. Client Portal, the browser version. Advantages: simple to use, intuitive interface, easy access from any computer, and more than enough for basic investing. Disadvantages: limited analytical tools and fewer features for advanced traders. Trader Workstation, TWS. Advantages: advanced technical analysis tools, more complex order types, the ability to track multiple markets at once. Perfect for active investors. Disadvantages: more complicated to use, and at first, it can feel overwhelming with so many options. That's why in this guide, I'll show you both approaches in practice. We'll start with a simple stock purchase through the browser, and then you'll also see how it looks on the more advanced TWS platform. Now I'll show you how to buy your first shares through the browser. Go to the Interactive Brokers website and log in to the client portal. For this recording, I'm using a demo account. After logging in, go to the Trade tab and then select Order Ticket. Here we can search for the company whose stock we want to buy. For example, let's type in the symbol NVDA, which is NVIDIA. We get a historical chart and see the current price of the stock. For another example, let's search for Apple. Ticker, AAPL. Scroll down, select Buy. Choose the number of shares you want to purchase, and below, the system immediately shows the estimated value of the transaction. We can also set the price at which we want to buy the shares. This is called a limit price. Let's say we want to buy 5 shares of Apple. At the bottom, we see the transaction summary in the total estimate section. If everything looks good, we click Submit. Our order is then sent for execution, and we can check its status in Trade Arrow Orders and Trades. Here we see the exact status of the order. Now all we need to do is wait until it's completed. That was a quick demonstration using the browser version. Now, let's see how the same process looks in the more advanced Trader Workstation platform. Log in to the previously installed application using the same credentials as for the browser version. You'll need to wait a moment while the platform loads all the data. Next, we can search for a company by its ticker. Let's say we want to buy NVIDIA. Click on its ticker, and in the Order Entry tab, you'll immediately see the current price information. Choose the number of shares, for example, 1 share, and set the price at which you want to make the purchase. Here, we have an interesting option that isn't available in the browser version, the Adaptive button. This means you don't enter a specific limit price. Instead, you allow the broker to buy the shares at the lowest available price on the market. It's a big convenience, especially for beginners. That's exactly why it's worth learning how to use TWS. At first, the number of options may feel overwhelming, but the platform offers huge possibilities. It's definitely worth practicing on a demo account. Also, keep in mind that the layout of tabs in TWS isn't fixed. Every user can customize it to their own needs. If you'd like me to record a separate tutorial about personalizing TWS, let me know in the comments. Back to the transaction. After choosing the number of shares and the price, click Buy, and then Submit. Your order will appear at the bottom of the screen in the order queue. Now all that's left is to wait until it's executed. And that's all for today. You've just seen how to open an account with Interactive Brokers and buy your first shares, both through the browser and on the Trader Workstation platform, also known as TWS. If you're just starting your investing journey, I highly recommend 2 videos that are showing up on your screen right now. The first one is about why investing is worth it, and the second one is about how to do it safely. If this video was helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Also, let me know in the comments what topics you'd like to see covered in the next videos. Thanks for watching, good luck in the markets, and see you in the next one.